Started. First, I have a little mini collection. I have a couple more Sansevierias outside, and in fact, this friend right here, I just dug up because I was so desperate to have Sansevierias before I had my other friends, and I dug him out of the yard and just put him in a pot, and he's doing pretty well. Sansevierias like to get dry, as I have learned. They like to get dry and stay kind of dry. I neglect it quite a bit, actually. It sits by my kitchen sink, but I am not tempted to overwater. So, yeah, they like to stay dry and to, you know, they get a lot of sun. My Sansevierias outside my gate, out back, they get a lot of sun. And they're a little bit yellow and they need more water, but I have some in the shade, and they're beautiful. They're really, really tall and putting out lots of new growth. So they get a lot of bright, indirect sun under kind of a tree canopy. So they're super happy there. I feel bad when we bring them inside because they do really like sunshine, but they will tolerate the dark, right? That's why they're so popular. I think inside they'll tolerate low light. So I have mine in the kitchen, which is actually kind of my low light area. It's an eastern wall, but it doesn't have very many windows, and the southern window over the sink is shaded. So they don't get a lot of sun, but that's where my Sansevierias live. They live in the kitchen. I think this is the Sansevieria, you're gonna get used to my awesome Latin, Laurentii, or is it just T? Laurentii. And I don't know, see, I don't know, I got this plant originally from like an estate sale. It was this huge pot that could barely fit in the back of my minivan. So it was huge, and it has like two different variegations. Like this guy is striped and fun, and this guy has got like, you know, like the more like kind of typical, like, I don't know, horizontal striping. What would you say about that? But I put them in together. They were from the same plant, so I don't know. I had a huge plant. I cut it directly in half. I gave one half to my friend, and it's doing even better at her house. And I've just been taking babies off it here and there. So I have some in the dirt. I have some in pots in the back. And of course, some in my house now. More plants, please. What I'm going to be doing today, I think, so this is the, I think it's the golden Hahnii. And it's doing really well. I got this as a birthday gift a couple months ago, and it's in a little tiny pot. And I just have it, I have most all my pots, like in just little cash pots, just for easy watering. Although my brilliant friend, these pots are from IKEA, and they are kind of a little bit big and awkward for some plants. So I don't know who do we need to talk to get pots, cash pots made for appropriate sizing for these little grow pots? Who do we need to talk to? Nobody asks me when they make pots, but I'd be glad to give my opinion. They're all just a little bit too big and a little bit too wide. Anyhow, so I might drill some holes in these and just plant directly in them. These are terracotta, although they are painted and like glazed, but underneath it's just terracotta. So you can drill that pretty easily, which I might do a separate video on, but that's all an aside. This guy is in a tiny one, and I want to keep, where this sits in my kitchen, I need a smaller pot. So what I'm gonna do is, can you see there's like the mama plant here, which is nice and healthy, and then there's a little baby coming out here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the baby off of the mama, and then I'm just gonna put the mama back in, because I took the dirt off just to pre-check it. And it is like, do you see that? It's super loose. The roots don't look super impacted. And I should be doing this over the tray. Hang on a second. Try not to make a huge mess. As you can see, I am well, I don't know if you can tell, I'm at my kitchen table. And so I'm trying not to make such a huge mess. I should be like filming outside, but it's too loud out there. It's too much going on. So, anyways, the roots are not too bound up in here, and see how it's just kind of like falling off here. So it's in really loose soil, which is fine. And I'm just gonna take the baby off the mama plant, and I just realized I don't have an appropriate knife for that. So that'll wait just a minute. We'll do that second. So that's what I'm gonna do with this one. I'm gonna take the baby off the mama and put the mama back here, put the baby in another little pot. But then I also have this little friend, and I think this is a Fernwood. Is that what they call this? I'm not sure. I found it at IKEA, and it was so cute and so teeny tiny. I bought a couple. I've given some away. And when I got it, it was just like the main stalks here. But can you see? There's so many little tiny babies. And actually, let me take it off out of its pot, and you can see that. Look at all of those baby shoots coming up. I mean, it's like all the way around the pot. Like that one, you can't even see through the soil on top without looking at the roots. But I have to water this more often than I'd like because it's so, it's, you know, pretty root bound, and it's in a tiny little pot. So I'm not going to divide it at all. I'm just going to put it in this size pot. So, you know, it's a couple sizes bigger, but that's what I've got. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I just get these. I found, well, no, actually this is like a pot from this had a fern in it. So I just keep these as much as I can for this purpose. But I also have some like cuter, it almost looks like terracotta. I mean, you know, everyone can tell the difference between the plastic and the terracotta, but I think it's cute. It's a little bit, you know, if it's out, it's a little bit cuter. So I think what I'll do, I'm gonna put the other Sansevieria in here, but I'm just gonna pot this in here. I just have some regular cactus succulent mix from the regular, you know, from the store, from like a Home Depot or something. Nothing special. I added to it some worm castings, just like a little handful. And that's what I've been doing. All of my outside plants are in pots, save like one tiny little bed. So I try to put, when I'm planting, I try to put the worm castings in, which if you don't know what worm castings are, PSA, it's worm poop. They call it castings. That's a much nicer word. It's worm poop. Mix it up in there, and it's great fertilizer, and it's pretty no nonsense. You don't have to worry about it burning. It's just so natural, and it decomposes slowly. So it kind of just slowly feeds your plant. So I dig that. I put it on top. I make tea. I'll talk about that some other time. I don't drink the tea. It's tea for the plants. Gross. I don't eat or drink worm poop. I swear. Weird. Although I do weird things for plants, that's not one of them. Okay, so I took it out of its pot. It's got cute little roots. And so I'm just gonna add a little bit of dirt. Oh, I'm so sorry, my nose is itchy today. It's probably the dirt because I'm a little bit of allergies. I wanna give it, what I've learned with repotting, I wanna give it a little bit of space between, I used to fill them up real high. And then I realized like when I water, I couldn't like water as thoroughly because it would just, you know, fall off the sides, or I'd have to sit there forever and let it trickle through and then do it again. So I try to give a little bit of a lip so that, well, that there's room for water, but then also when I fertilize, I can put it on top and let it kind of sit on top and decompose, and so that there's room to do that before you're repotting again. So I feel like I'm gonna put a little bit of more dirt on the bottom. Soil, it's soil, you guys, it's not dirt. I feel like I've been corrected by that, not in person, but like via mini podcasts and videos. It's not dirt, it's soil. And it's not actually dirt at all. There's no dirt in here. It's bark and moss and all kinds of cool stuff. Worm castings, aka poop. Isn't that crazy though? Like you think about it, like everything like circles. We eat, we poop, not we, worms, and it makes more nutrients for more food for them. It's awesome. Circle of life and all that. Super fun. Okay, so I don't do it too tight. This was in really tight soil. It was very dry, so I'm gonna try to kind of pack it in just a little bit, but I want the water to be able to not fall out all the way because this is a really loose kind of succulent soil. So there it is, easy breezy. I've seen people put cute stuff on top of the soil. I don't do that. I like just the look of just plain soil. And so I'm gonna find a little pot for it. I think I have more of these ones in the garage. I buy these in bulk because they're pretty inexpensive at IKEA actually. So I'll probably put it in something like that, but you see how it's it just kind of is a little bit too big for it. I'd like it to just be just right, or to sit, you know, not quite, but whatever. We've got what we've got, right? I'm trying to come up with new ways to cover grow pots that aren't, you know, necessarily so expensive as buying pots, because I'm starting to get quite a little collection. So I'm trying to come up with more inexpensive ways. I'm gonna take a break for a second and get something to cut that baby from its mama. I have my pruning shears, and I took a minute to like thoroughly itch my nose, so hopefully that will knock it off. All right, so let's take a look at, I just wanted to say, I have, so even when I'm working outside, I don't have like a potting table or whatever, although I'd like to make a little potting space, and I'll show you that some other time. But, so I have a little tray, and I have this big mama bowl here. It's like, you know, probably from the dollar store. I think this actually belongs to my friend Kim, and I'm supposed to give it back to her, but she brought me some produce in it once, and I just kept it. And then I have just my typical garden trowel. I like to mix up the dirt in here first, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I go stand by outside on the side of the house and, like, you know, put a little this, put a little that in, and kind of mix it up. But I have some space out there where I can store dirt, and so I just go and mix my dirt combo, and then I bring it to wherever I'm planting, unless I'm doing a great big plot, then I'll do that differently. But so I just have this bowl, and I have it on this tray to kind of like collect it. And so I even do that when I'm at the table outside. I just collect it, and then it's easier to either put back in the bowl and save the dirt that I didn't use, or to wash it off or whatever. So it's just a little trick that I saw my guru, my Plantarina, Amanda on Plantarina, she's got such great tips. So that's what I do with that. And just a regular, I don't know, Lowe's, Home Depot, something, doesn't matter. I mean, sometimes I use a kitchen spoon because it's a little bit wider and it's easier to get like into like the pots and stuff. So, but don't tell my family. They don't know they're eating off freshly washed dirt spoons with worm poop on it. All right, here's a little baby friend. We're gonna take it off, and I'm gonna maybe get this a little bit closer so you can see. Excuse me, when I cut off my head, you can see how it connects to the mama plant. And I'm gonna take off a little bit of dirt here, but there's a little bit, oh, that's perfect. Oh, excuse the fire trucks that are about to go by. I'm safe, it's good, it's somebody else. Oh, it's a police officer, off he goes. We live on a fairly busy street, so you'll hear that sometimes. Okay, so can you see here where it connects? That's exactly where I'm gonna snip it. I'm just gonna snip it right down the center here, and then that's all you have to do. It's so easy. Sansevierias are so fun and so easy. They're just, you know, like succulents. They just, easy peasy. They're so easy. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna cut it. gonna give it a little trim with my pruning shears and see how that, did you see how that fell away? So perfect. And so you can see here, it's got some roots coming off of it. It's, oh, focus now. It's doing just fine. So I'm gonna plop that in some dirt, and I'm gonna stick the mama, who's no worse for the wear, back in her dirt. So I'll pot up the mama in a second, but I'm just gonna throw some dirt in the bottom here. Soil, it's soil, guys. I'm gonna throw some soil in. Sorry, I just cut my head off. Throw some soil in, and then I need more because that's a short little root. So same thing, I don't want to fill it up all the way. In fact, I'm just gonna kind of fill it up to the top and then make a hole for it to stick it down in. Bloop. Just like that. I'm gonna put the roots down a little bit, and then I'm just gonna hold it and backfill so that it will sit up straight. And I'm gonna let the dirt touch just the bottom of the plant. So I want the root covered and the bottom of the plant just barely at the line, at the base of the plant. So, and of course I'm gonna water these. I don't have my watering can, I'm so well prepared. I don't have my watering can right here. So I'm gonna give them all a good water here when I'm done. So I think you get the picture. I'm just gonna put more dirt. The dirt kind of came out all over the place. I'm gonna put more soil in and fill this back up. But as I said, I'm gonna leave it in this pot because it's not very root bound, and I believe Sansevierias like to be a little bit root bound. So I'm going to keep it in this, mostly because I like the size. And I am going to plop this one. You know, I found a cash pot under here on my table. It's like a little tin, fake tin, I don't even know what that's kind of, like from the dollar store. So, and it's also too tall, but I'm gonna get a little bit of gravel, or I have random like dried beans and all kinds of random stuff that I use. But I'm gonna get a little gravel and just put it on the bottom to raise it up a little bit. And then if it drains, it's just draining into gravel anyway. So that's what I'm gonna do for that. And this will go back in its home. And then I have a new little Sansevieria that I can gift, or I can put in. The kids don't have a Sansevieria in their room yet, and neither do I actually. So I might do that, and or if a friend comes over and admires my Sansevieria, then I can give one away. So that's the cool thing about those plants. I think that's it for now. I would love to hear your feedback, love to hear any questions or thoughts you have, or if you know how to pronounce these things and you know what it is, because I just took some general Googling to figure out what these are, and they never had names when I got them. So, or you could just name them Frank and Sally. I don't really care. I'm not real picky, and my Latin is terrible, so Frank and Sally and, Fernwood, that's easy enough to say. All right, have a good day. Thanks for checking in with me, and we'll talk to you later.